Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Everybody wanted a reality TV star, and now we're caught up in this cycle of it really is Survivor, because you all need to understand your government won't be there for you. Your government works for the oligarchy. The oligarchy has taken control of your government and multiple branches of your government at that. So, hey, Auntie T. It has the White House, it has the Senate, it has the House, it has a lot of your judicial branch, a lot of your local governments and respective states are controlled by the oligarchy, because as long as they continue to finance those who work to weaken the United States, but hey, that's what happens. That's where we are right now. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. I hope I know you had a great day. I hope you had a great day. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for being here this afternoon. As I always tell you, I appreciate your time. As always, I also want to remind you, don't forget to check out the link in my bio to check out the Straight No Chaser podcast. A new episode will drop tonight at 7 p.m. For everybody. And tonight's episode is all about capitalism. How capitalism is devouring America and why the system was never built for you. Yep. How it's set up. I love the trolls, especially the ones where TikTok never shows their comments. It has to really be horrible to work really hard for that comment only for TikTok to filter it. Poor thing. Hey, 305, good afternoon. Now I'm going to give you guys some updates about some things that are happening, because of course, you may not be aware of them, but I want to make you aware. Because when I think about you guys, I always think about, what do you need to know? That's what I always think about. What do you need to know? You know what I mean? And so, that you may not know about. And, let me go to my stuff. So first thing is, there's a meeting that's going to happen in D.C. with top Trump officials today. A dinner is going to be hosted by J.D. Vance so they can talk about an Epstein strategy. So my question is this. If Trump has been above board and he's being transparent and being honest about what he knew, because we still don't know what the president knew when he knew it about Jeffrey Epstein, especially in relation to his club. Because remember, he said last week, Epstein stole 2 of his employees, but he never went to the authorities to tell what this man was doing. See? So that's where I go, well, you were upset that he took your people, but you weren't upset enough to tell anybody that he did. Make it make sense. Okay? But yeah, there's a dinner going to happen tonight hosted by J.D. Vance. And that dinner, the whole point of it is to get an Epstein strategy, because this story won't go away. The story is not going to go away because Trump needs to release the files. That's really the big thing. Trump needs to release the Epstein files. Remember, Trump campaigned on releasing the files. You know who's not in the files? That's who's not in the files. That's who's not in the files. Drag queens are not in the files. They're not in the files at all. Not at all. And Republicans have been running year after year campaigns on, these people, your kids can't be safe around them. They're not the problem for your kids. It's the people that pretend that they're good old family values, right? So you can let your guard down. And when you let your guard down, that's when they come in. That's when they come in. Don't believe me? There's a South Dakota Republican, Joel Koskan, who just got sentenced to 10 years in prison. Why was he sentenced to 10 years in prison? Because let's just say he was inappropriate with his stepdaughter. But he still got 42% of the Republican vote. in South Dakota. See? So I don't want to hear conservatives talk about they care about children. You don't care about children, because when the person looks like, you want them to look, when they're in the party you want them to be in, you ignore the fact that they're not safe for children and safe for a community. Because understand, if they're not safe for children, they're not safe for women either. They're not safe for little boys either. You understand? Your community is unsafe when you allow these people to roam your community and act like, and normalize, because I want to know why the Republican Party is trying to normalize this type of stuff. And see, when I saw this today, I wanted to put this up, because every so often you have people that come in my live and say, well, how come Democrats didn't release the files? That's why. That's why. That's the exact reason why. Mr. Bill, you don't have enough followers to be in here. Sorry, exclusive community. I feel no sorrow. I told y'all, I don't need to talk to conservatives. Y'all want to talk to me. I don't have a desire to talk to you. Nobody's forcing you to come to this live. What I would tell you to do with TikTok, just keep scrolling. You'll eventually run into something that you like. But if you interact with something that you don't like, you're going to keep seeing it. So thank you in advance for the views that I'm going to get on my video, because if you come in the live, then my videos are going to stop popping up on your For You page. So I thank you for your support. I really do. I thank you for your support in advance, because I know what's going to happen when that happens. I already know. That's why I'm like, instead of spending your time arguing with me, try to figure out why your party. Check out the link in my bio that's to my Patreon. I put a link in there the other day that gives you a running list of all of the Republican elected officials that have been caught up and gotten charged with not being safe to their communities. Y'all think that's an accident? That's not a coincidence. I done told y'all ain't no such thing as a coincidence when it comes to Washington. There's a pattern. Y'all not paying attention to the pattern. The very people that tell you that you're safe with them are the very people you're not safe with. When somebody tells you you're safe with me, you're not safe. Okay? Because people shouldn't have to say that. You understand? No one should have to tell you you're safe with me. So if somebody tells you that you're not safe with those people, you need to understand they're going to prey on you. They're going to manipulate you, gaslight you, do whatever they can do to get what they want from you. And that's just the truth. Now, y'all know that Texas Republicans are trying to gerrymander Texas for Trump, because Trump is concerned about the midterms, right? He's concerned about Democrats taking over the House and stopping his agenda, as they should, right? So the lieutenant governor of Texas says there's nothing Democrats can do to stop them from gerrymandering because they're a red state. And I would argue if they were really a red state, they wouldn't need to gerrymander, would they? Think about it. If Texas was truly a red state the way Republicans say, they wouldn't need to gerrymander. You would by proxy win those seats. You would just by, it doesn't mean that every registered Republican, it means like registered Republicans are going to vote for you. And in some Democratic districts, you're going to win Democratic votes. Exactly. Texas is purple, but Republicans don't want Texas to be purple. They want it to be red. That's the issue. The real issue is Texas Republicans want to keep trying to control what Texas is. Again, if their policies are so good, why do they have to gerrymander? That's why I'm saying to Democrats, listen, Democrats, if you are going to run for office, y'all got to match their energy. You can't be nice to these people anymore. You can't be nice to these people anymore. You have to match their energy. Because if you don't match their energy, you will not win elections. Because voters, they're tired of being apathetic. They're tired of you pretending to be the adult in the room. You're going to lose every time. It's like dealing with children. When children continue not to do what they need to do, you got to get creative in how you interact with that child in order for them to understand boundaries and what's right and what's wrong. You understand? You got to get a little creative. Democrats got to get creative. And that's the bottom line. You got to fight fire with fire. I told y'all, honey, when they do those debates, when the topic of abortion comes up, if Democrats don't lean into IVF, I had this discussion with my doctor yesterday because I was at my gynecologist's office yesterday, right? And I had this discussion with her. I said, you know what I tell people who are against abortion? I say, how can you be against abortion before IVF? IVF deliberately creates life in a lab, right? They say life begins at conception. IVF creates life in a lab, in a dish, right? And then for IVF, right, they implant multiple fertilized eggs in that woman in order to at least get one of them to take. Now, my doctor told me they also do these things called selective reductions. Boom. So say, for example, they put 5, 6 fertilized embryos in you and they all take, where people don't want 5, 6 babies at once. So they go through a process called selective reduction. And she says, oh, it's abortion. But they call it something a little different when it's dealing with fertility. Understand, these women that are top popping all that shit about respecting life, but they do IVF, they're hypocrites and full of shit. You're way more egregious than any woman that has decided not to have a baby because she can't afford it. You're choosing not to have those babies because you don't want to be bothered with all those babies. Remember, Octomom caught a lot of hell for having all those babies, but she had every single fertilized embryo that she created. Think about it. That woman had every single fertilized embryo that she created. None of it went to waste. But then she gets villainized. But another woman that has 20 fertilized eggs at a fertility clinic and only uses 5 of them, and then she done had all the kids she want to have, it's okay for her to keep her 15 frozen, but she's a good mom. What? Make it make sense. See, that's why I say, Democrats, you got to have those types of conversations. Why is IVF okay? IVF ain't okay. If you can't have babies the natural way, isn't that God's will? I thought we weren't supposed to intercept God's will according to these religious people. So is it okay to interrupt God's will when it's for your benefit? Listen, y'all better learn how to make these arguments. When they say they don't believe in science, ask them, do you believe in science if you get a cancer diagnosis, or you just let it ride? And when they say, I'll say, no, because I want to know when your belief in science begins and when it ends, right? Stop letting these people make statements without, expanding or expounding on those statements. Back it up with some information. So where does your belief in science begin and where does it end? Like, for example, today, RFK Jr., he cut all funds towards mRNA technology. He says it's not safe. He reviewed it. This man is not a medical expert, but he reviewed it and decided that it was determined that mRNA technology poses more risk than benefits. He decided that. So this includes flu vaccines, all of that stuff. See, understand, rich people are still going to get these things. See? I'm not sure what his argument was, because when I saw the headline story, I was like, it's just foolishness. It's just foolishness. Hey, Carly, thank you so much, beautiful. It is absolute foolishness. Y'all have to start calling these people out by asking them to, again, expound on the things that they say. Because they just say anything because they know that they can. That's the bottom line. That's why they say anything. Challenge them. When you do have conversations with them, see, I don't have any conversations with them, but when I do have conversations with them, back up what you say. That's when they get quiet. Because when the sheep don't have a script to respond to something you say, they don't know how to respond. They don't know how to act. When I tell them I want them to cut FEMA, I agree with you. I'm tired of paying to pull trailers back upright in the Midwest. They're like, wait, hold up. Huh? Yeah, I said what I said. You said no FEMA. I agree with you. But I also agree with cutting the elderly off and taking all their funding and care away. I agree with that too, because they don't believe in socialism, right? I'm tired of socializing Mama on scooter. See, because my thing is, how far you want this to go? Because I could take it all the way. I could take it all the way. But they never want to take it all the way. I told you, ladies, if you want to overturn abortion and stop government from controlling your body, stop having intimacy with men. I guarantee you, nothing is going to get government to move faster than a whole bunch of men showing up at their elected officials' office going, listen, y'all need to mind y'all damn business, because now you're invading on my personal life at this point. You messing with my ability to get a little nookie. All right? So whatever y'all doing, y'all need to stop doing that shit. You understand? I'm telling you, that's how you're going to get movement. Men have to be affected. They have to be put in an uncomfortable position. Stop having babies with them. Stop being intimate with them. Say, listen, I would love to be intimate with you, but unfortunately, Texas is in the middle of our relationship. We kind of doing some polyamorous thing here that you may not realize it, but it's you, me, and the state we live in. So because of that, I can't take this any further than us, holding hands, maybe a little peck on the cheek, but I can't take it any further than that. I'm telling you, if you take that approach, it changes how they move. But as long as you sit up there and continue to participate in this environment and give people what they want, that keep voting against your own demise, well, you ain't gonna never win like that. You ain't gonna never win like that. Because I know who can do without it longer than the longest. Women. Hands down. Hands down. But I'm telling you, if you want to change your government, tell a man that you're not being intimate because of government. At first, they're going to complain and say you being overreactive, this, that, and other. But after a while, enough women say it. They like, this is some bullshit. We got to do something about this. This is bullshit. Like, yo, all these women walk, and the more a woman is not being physical, the better she starts to look, because she's pouring into herself, right? So she starts looking even better. Skin glowing, teeth all purred, dimples popping. You understand? You understand? She gonna be looking good. Why? Because she's unbothered. She don't have no stress in her life, right? No stress, no bother, right? So she gonna be looking even better, right? She going to the gym, traveling, doing all the things she like to do, just pouring into her, right? Right? I'm telling you, you want to change things. Men have to feel uncomfortable. You said, didn't Johnson let Congress flee Washington? He sure did. And Mike Johnson did nothing about it. I said that in a video, I think today or yesterday. Yeah, Mike Johnson did nothing about it. That's why I wanted to make sure that I showed this post up here with remembering Ted Cruz fleeing to Cancun when Texans were burning their furniture to stay warm. Why? Because the Texas power grid can't be depended on. Y'all got enough time to control people's bodies, but you ain't got enough time to make sure the power grid work. Now, let me stop for a second and say good afternoon, everybody. Let me stop for a minute. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Thank you for joining me. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. I tell you I always do, because you can be anywhere, but you choose to be here, so I appreciate that. Oh, Shauna, I didn't know you were in Texas. Okay, good afternoon. Good afternoon, you all. The power grid is privatized, and they think they're above. I gotta go back. They're above checks and balances. Exactly. But see, your power grid shouldn't be privatized. See, utilities should be accessible to everybody. It should be internet, gas, electricity, water. You know what I'm saying? Those are necessities. Those types of things should be accessible to everyone and government facilitated and should be cheap. They should not be privatized. Because see, this is the thing. Companies have no incentive to do the right thing. What did I tell y'all? When it comes to capitalism, capitalism needs growth. Without growth, it looks at itself as a failure, right? So in order for these utilities to stay profitable, they have to keep raising prices so they can continue to have growth. You won't continue to have growth because you're going to continue to lose money. Right, government is supposed to care about its constituents, but you know why government doesn't care about its constituents? Because its constituents don't care enough about government to stay on its ass. Y'all let these people act like they paying you. No, you're paying them. Your tax dollars pay these folks' salaries. You know? You've been appreciating my videos. Oh, thank you so much. What has your career been? I've spanned in different things. I've worked in private industry and I've worked in government, mostly in technology. But because I am local to the DMV, I've always had a connection to paying attention to politics. I wasn't in politics, but I was always paying attention and always watching the bullshit. And over the decades, watching Republicans keep moving the line and then watching their voters be okay with it. Thank you so much, Chella. I appreciate you too, beautiful. Hey, good afternoon, Tara. Good afternoon. Hey, Monica. Right. That's the privilege. Americans think that, their work stops at their vote, but it doesn't stop at their vote. You got to stay on these folks' ass. You're paying them almost $200,000 a year. And you got lobbyists all over Washington constantly coming at these elected officials. Oh, Sheila. Okay, I got it. Thank you so much, beautiful. You have lobbyists constantly coming at them. Hey, Jess, constantly coming at them. So you got to constantly be coming at these people too. Like, listen, you can take that money if you want to, but we watching your ass. So if you take that money, best believe when it come time for another election again, you better be looking for a job somewhere else. Because we're not interested in you taking money from special interest groups. This is why that Supreme Court decision about Citizens United was so important. When they said corporations are people too, I kept telling people, what makes you think you're going to be more important than a multi-million-dollar corporation to Washington? They chase money because you got money all up in your politics. And they need money to run for office. So they're constantly chasing money. They spend most of their time campaigning and chasing money than they do working for their constituents. That's the problem. It's too much money in politics. How politics should work is if you're going to run for any type of office, you get a set amount of government money that the government gives you to run. You can't get nothing more than that. No donations, no none of that shit. Only kind of donation work can be done. People have to physically volunteer to help you. No monies can be paid to them at all. You understand? Have real community voting and engagement. Get the money out of politics, because as long as you have money in politics, the people with money are going to control the narrative every time. Hey, storyteller. Hey, Jersey Weekend. Good afternoon. That's why I'm telling y'all that. Oh, let me put this here. And if you guys could tap that like button for me, and the share button, copy link counts as a share, even if you don't send it to anybody. I want to, look, let me share that again. Plus, did y'all see the image that is going around that shows, what's the best way to say it? The president's almost 80, right? The president had a little accident. I'm going to say it like that. Y'all seen that picture yet? I have. I was like, oh, PACs and lobbyists are PACs and lobbyists are the downfall of democracy. Absolutely, positively. This is why I say Democrats, when they back in office, they got to do something about a lot of things. They got to come hard in the paint. They got to do something about lobbying. They got to get rid of, Congress should not be able to invest in the stock market at all. If you want to invest in the stock market, your ass need to quit that public service job and go into something else. But you cannot be up on Washington looking at the same companies and regulating the companies and investing in those companies. Hey, Crane Man, that's great that you love another man, but this isn't the live for that. You might want to go over to another live, beloved. This ain't the live for that. Bruh came in hard. I love Trump. Okay. We don't like you telling us too many things. Whatever relationship you had with this man is between you and that man. That has nothing to do with any of us in here. Like, weird. It's not the flex that they think it is. especially when you're a man with a whole wife. It's not a flex. Oh, Trump and MAGA are freaking out because they're still trying to figure out what to do with this Epstein thing. But what did I tell y'all earlier? Ghislaine Maxwell, I'm going to repeat this again for those who don't know. Ghislaine Maxwell, right? In order to move her from a prison in Florida to the prison in Texas, she was moved from a medium security prison to a low security prison in Texas. The Trump administration got a waiver. They got a waiver to move her to Texas. Why did she want to go to Texas? She wanted to go to Texas because her family's in Texas. CRL, this is my scheduled live. I do lives at 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So just so y'all know. So that, yeah, she got a waiver. Thank you so much, Shadow. But they got a waiver for her so they could move her. Then on top of that, the Justice Department, not one, but twice met with her. And the second time they met with her, her lawyer filed a lawsuit with the Supreme Court, says she's a scapegoat, that her conviction should be overturned. Now, keep in mind, when she had court, when she was going through her trial and she got sentenced, the prosecutor said that not only did she recruit, she participated in. Ghislaine Maxwell, even when she spoke for herself at sentencing, never disputed any of that. But now she turns around and won't admit her participation. She's still lying. Why is the Trump administration caring so much more about the predators than the victims? They're not even talking to the victims at all. At all. Again, if you won't protect them, you think your community and your children are protected? You like the diddler on the roof? Yeah, that's him. Is she a citizen? I believe she is. I think she has her papers. Trump doesn't care about it. He doesn't care about anyone. But the Republican Party, what I figured out about Republican voters, they don't care that he doesn't care about anyone. As long as he hates the same people that they hate, they're okay with that. That's the thing about this party. This party is perfectly fine being who they are as long as he hates the same people they hate. They'll even lose everything as long as he's doing it to the people that he hates. Look at people who voted for Trump and now their own family members have been detained and or deported. And they sitting there going, I didn't know this was going to happen. I don't know how. He told you what he was going to do. He told you. He told you. You just didn't think he'd do it to you. That's what it was. That's why I feel no sorrow when I see them crying. What about my daddy? What about my mama? I go, what the fuck about them? If you didn't give a shit about your family, why am I supposed to care more about your family than you do? Right? I'm not going to fight for your family harder than you fight for your family. That doesn't make any sense. That would make me a damn fool. Right? That would make me a fool. So that's why for me, I just watch. I go, I'm not marching. I'm not donating to nothing. You voted for it. So what you need to do now is put in the work to reverse the mess that your ass created. I didn't create that mess. I didn't create that mess. And I told you what to do, but you didn't want to listen. Because what my grandma used to say, you ain't believe fat meat was greasy. Well, now you see it is. So now you need to clean up the mess. But it's not our mess to clean up. Those people who didn't vote for this, it's not our mess to clean up. Exactly. They need to clean up their own damn mess. Because when Democrats take control, I expect them to go hard in the fucking paint. If they're not proud socialists and don't move like proud socialists, we're going to have a problem. You need to raise the federal minimum wage to at least $15 or $30 an hour. Raise that shit. Have universal basic income for every American. Hell, at $600 or $800 a month, imagine if you got $600 or $800 a month, tax-free money that you don't have to file on your taxes. Tax-free money. You can just use that money every month towards your high-ass grocery bill these days. Think about the load that would lift for you if you had that money coming in every month and it could buy groceries or supplies, whatever you need with it, but that's money you don't have to pay no taxes on. Imagine. And they'll tell you all day, we don't have the money. Yes, we do. We got money so that rich people don't have to pay taxes. If rich people paid their taxes, you could have free education, free health care, better neighborhoods, better libraries, job training centers. It's all these things America could have if rich people paid their taxes. But instead, Americans are too focused on making America a tax haven for the 1%. Yep, affordable housing. Y'all keep letting these rich people use your country as a cash register. And I'm looking at y'all. Has MAGA given up? Girl, Miss Marie. Okay, I got to address that. Miss Marie, girl. MAGA went from $5,000 Doge checks to $600 tariff refunds. How the mighty have fallen, honey. Remember what they said? Oh, Doge going to be sending $5,000 checks. Ha, 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 liberals. We getting money back. All this money saved, blah, blah, blah. Honey, done went from a $5,000 Doge check that they were never going to get. To $600 fucking dollars. And then when you think about it, tariffs are just Trump taxes, right? They're taxes on the American family. So if Congress sent every family $600, aren't they just giving you money back that you paid already? So they're not giving you shit. They're just moving money around if they do it. Exactly. And then you're going to have to claim that $600 on your taxes. It ain't like it's free money. They going to tax you on the shit too. But yet, when they got PPP loans, their money got forgiven. Listen, y'all better pay attention. But when you got stimulus checks during the pandemic, you had to claim all that shit as income. When they got that PPP money, not only did they get to write off their losses, they didn't have to pay that money back. They didn't have to pay that money back. And some of the people that got the money are in Congress. So they created the rules, used the stuff that they created, and then made more rules so they wouldn't even have to pay the money back. Uh-oh. I had to stop that real quick. My phone was ringing. I have to deal with that when I'm done with this. Oh, you think Trump is my daddy? I must be your mama because you all up in my live. Thank you for your support, though. Now my video is going to show up in your For You page. Bye. They are so supportive. I forget, it's like 0.1% or 2% of people. No, it's not even 0.1. It's like 1 or 2% of people that watch my videos are actually people I have blocked. Now, I don't even know how that's possible, but apparently I'm guessing they mean blocked and alive. I just don't understand. I wouldn't watch people that I don't like, but okay. Some got millions of that PPP money and didn't have to pay it back. Why? Because they lobbied Congress to make sure they wouldn't have to pay the money back. So follow this logic. They complained about the pandemic shutting everything down. They got the government to give them money during the pandemic so their businesses wouldn't fail. Then they got the government to then forgive the money so they wouldn't have to pay it back. Okay. Exactly, but no help with student loans. But you're not going to get help with student loans. You know why? Because they don't want you to be debt free. See, as long as you're in debt, you trapped in those jobs that you don't like. I'm going to say it again. As long as you bound and held down by debt, you are trapped in jobs that you do not like. That's why they want you to finance everything. Hell, if you go to Walmart right now at the register, you can pay with Affirm. Baby, I never got SNAP. If anything, I'm mad because I never qualified. What the fuck you talking about? You know how poor you got to be to get SNAP, beloved? See, people who pop all that shit, it cracks me up because the people who pop all that stuff, they can qualify for SNAP. I've never qualified. I didn't even qualify for fucking WIC. Okay? I didn't even qualify for WIC. I had to send my husband. Because he was a man, they gave it to him. Because they was like, you must be in a bad way if she done left you with this child. Because I couldn't get it. But they gave it to his ass. You gotta love that shit. But they gave it to him. The wick was in his fucking name. Where they say, women, infants, and children. And back then, formula was like $25, $30 a can. Now, formula like $50, $60 a can. I don't know how parents are affording this stuff. Just like that video I did the other day where I was like, yo, I don't even understand how that's why Americans aren't having children. It's too expensive. Why would you have a family if you already struggling as an individual? You gonna bring a child into that struggle too? And not just the struggle. Schools aren't safe for your child. Your children aren't protected at school. Your teachers spend more time trying to protect your children from somebody coming into the school or somebody that's a member of the school attacking the school than they get to teach. When I went to school, we didn't do drills on stuff like that. The only drill we ever did was a fire drill. We ain't never do nothing else but a fire drill. That was it. Because there wasn't a need for another drill. And not only did we only do fire drills, you could come and go in schools. Visitors could come visit at any time. You didn't have to schedule appointments to visit your child's school. You can come sit in your child's classroom if you wanted to and watch and see what's going on. I used to do that in my kids' classes all the time. I would just pop up and sit in class. I didn't have to give no advance. I would tell their teacher, hey, I'm coming. Don't tell my kid. I'm going to come sit and blah, blah, blah. You know, just to observe and see what they be up to. Because I know they're going to act right when I'm there, but they don't know I'm coming. They don't know I'm going to be there when they walk in class. You understand? You understand? So I'm like, it was very different then. Now parents can't even go inside of most schools without an appointment. Got to show your ID on the camera before they going to even unlock the door. We ain't have all that. At the most, I think we might have had a metal detector, but hell, our security was this old lady. And all she had was mace. Wasn't like she was going to tussle nobody. You understand? And I grew up in the hood and never had to worry about getting pew-pewed at school. Make it make sense. And quiet is kept. Let's keep it all the way a buck. When you see those school pew-pews, they don't happen at schools in the hood. Ain't nobody gonna come and waste their pew-pew at school. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? If I had somebody, if they got somebody they want to get at, they gonna get at them after school. Come to the school. Why? That's not what they do. Not in the hood. Not in the hood. They might fight you. You might have to scrap, fight with your fists. But more than anything, people gonna say 3 o'clock. I see you at 3 o'clock. You understand? They was doing that shit back when I was in school. In terms of I see you at 3 o'clock. But people still wasn't bringing pew-pews to school. Nah, they wasn't doing that. They would just fight. But you better know how to fight. What they say, you better not write checks with your mouth that your ass can't cash. Wait, say it again. See you at that bus stop where they say, this the universal symbol. So you know somebody was going to be fighting. Yeah. That's the universal symbol. Okay? That's why I'm like, again, people are different now. I remember that time growing up. Those things are horrible, Christian, but we didn't have that stuff when me growing up. I'm just telling you. And I grew up in the hood. Nobody ever bought a pew-pew to school. At the most you was getting at school, you better be ready to knuckle the fuck up. No, hogs. That's Trump. Trump is the diddler on the roof. The diddler on the roof with fluid on his legs. Hood kids get more respect for the sanctity of school. Say it again. You're going to be your safest at school in the hood. And that's just a fact. I'm just telling you, I went to school in the hood. I had to be to school on time. I'm going to tell you this how it was back in the day. I remember distinctly, especially in junior high school. If you were late, tardy for school, right? If you were tardy for school, you couldn't just go to class. Well, so whatever period you showed up in, right? This is what you had to do. You had to go to this classroom. and stay in that classroom until the period that you showed up for school and was over. But while you was in that classroom, you had to write these things called copies by hand, right? It was almost a passive aggressive punishment to so that it puts you in a position, like a copy would be long like a constitution page, and it was front and back, and they had like 100 items on the front and back. And if you come in there and they say you got to write 10 copies, you got to write 10 copies of that fucking paper by hand. So guess what? You're never going to be late for school again. See, when I was growing up, even hood kids was on time for school. Even thugs was on time for school. Thugs was on the honor roll. Thugs ain't cut up in class. You might have a thug, but Bama's still on the honor roll. Got a whole thug, but he in the art program. Chill. See, y'all be doing it all wrong. I remember how it was back then. Oh, yeah, I remember detention. Had to write you would have to write copies if you was in detention. But just because you were from a bad neighborhood or you were in an economically disadvantaged neighborhood, school was one of the safest places you could be. That's why when I hear about these school pew-pews, I'm like, that's weird. That's so weird to me, because growing up, if you was from the hood, one of the safe places to be, one of the safest places to be was fucking school. That was one of the few places where wasn't going to be no pew-pews. Wasn't going to be no pew-pews. Now, that ain't mean there wasn't going to be no fighting and stuff like that, but it wasn't going to be no weapons except fists. That was it. You had to fight about it. And if you weren't able to fight about it, you needed to shut your mouth. What they say, don't write checks with your mouth that your ass can't cash. That's where that comes from. Everything is markedly different now because, honestly, a lot of it's so different because people are sensitive. But people became more sensitive over time. When they didn't like how somebody spoke to them, they got violent. Violence was the natural progression from feeling disrespected. But you only feel disrespected because you're insecure. And you're insecure because you don't love yourself. And you need to work on that instead of being so concerned about what other people think about you. But instead of them working on themselves, they project with violence. That's what ends up happening. That's why we see a lot of things that do happen to a lot of people. That they're either in the street, in places around people they shouldn't be, trying to impress people that don't care about them because they don't love themselves. Or they're putting themselves in a position to be harmed. Yes, social media does change things, but social media only has to change you if you allow it to. You got to set boundaries even with social media. The problem is people want so much to be popular, to be liked, to be famous. People want to be famous. And that always puzzled me because I wouldn't want to be famous. I don't mind being rich and powerful, but you can be rich and powerful without fame. See, while I love me some Beyonce, but she's a prisoner. You understand? Beyonce is technically a prisoner. She can't really enjoy life the way the rest of us can enjoy life. We can get up and just go to Dunkin' Donuts, look a mess, nobody cares, right? We can spend the day at the park, pick out a wedgie, paparazzi will not be there. You understand where I'm coming from? So while she's a great performer and all those things, she is a bird in a glass cage. That's what she is. I wouldn't want her life. That's not interesting to me. That's not interesting to me. Kanye West is like, none of those lives are interesting to me, right? Because you live under a microscope. I would rather be somebody with the money and the power, but most people don't even know your name. Good. That means you're living a great life because most people don't even know who you are. And the people that need to know you know you. The people who don't. Those are the people living a great life. You know, those are the people living a great life. Yeah, Beyonce can't really speak her mind the way she would like to. She does through her music. But even in her music, she go all the way in gutter. Now, as far as in an interview, getting her to say certain things, you're not going to do it. But in the music, oh, she puts it in the music. Like, y'all remember when she came out with that Lemonade album? And she was talking about how black she was. I wasn't, but I was surprised by so many people going, why is she talking about being black? And I'm going, you ain't see her? She been black the whole time. Like, what did you want her to be? What you want her to say? She mixed? She ain't mixed. What she say? My daddy Alabama, my mama Louisiana. She told you. She told you who she was. She never tried to be anything but who she is. But people wanted her to try to be somebody else because she was kind of fair-skinned. That has to do with her roots and her DNA of that Creole background. But that's not her attempt at trying to not be who she is. Beyonce is one of the few celebrities, frankly, that has that when you look at her face, when you compare her face from 20 years ago to now, ain't too much different except she just got older. She ain't got all them fillers. That's one of the reasons why you can keep looking at her in the face and not feel uncomfortable. Money has changed Oprah. But get this, Christian. We got to be honest. If you have the type of money that Oprah has, money going to change you too. You know why? Because the people around you are going to kiss your ass because of all the money you have. All your ideas make sense. Everything you want to do is the right thing to do. Why? Because you got all these fucking people that's on the payroll that you paying. So my thing is, it's real easy to say Oprah shouldn't be that way. But guess what? If you was Oprah, your ass would be that way too. Well, you say she been shady. How has Oprah been shady? Because honestly, I want to know. Because I've heard people say that. And while I don't like everything that Oprah does, I don't think she's shady. Now, I still hold her accountable for Dr. Phil and Dr. Oz. Because if it wasn't for her ass, we wouldn't even know who those people were. So I hold her accountable for that. Now, I ain't gonna lie. That's all her fault. But outside of that, I'm not quite sure where Oprah is shady at. Like, I saw some people, they were upset that Oprah opened up her private road on Hawaii for helping people with evacuations. Listen, you can be as mad as you want to. Somebody sold it to her. It's not like she went and took the land. Somebody sold it to her. And that's just the truth. Somebody sold it to her. It goes back to your government. Again, it goes back to government, whether it's your local or your federal government. When your government is for sale to rich people, that's what's going to happen. They get to buy whatever they want. See, when you have fuck you money, essentially, you can buy anything you want. Yep, Miss Marie, money talks. And the only people who thinks money don't talk is people like us, because we ain't got that kind of money. But let me tell you, if you have enough money, you can essentially buy anything. And that's scary as fuck to know that, but that is the truth. Yeah, money corrupts. It absolutely does. It absolutely does. Like when I look at mega churches, right? I am confused by that. Because if I was a Christian and I was worshiping, I wouldn't go to a mega church. In the world, you're just a number. Why would I want to go to church and be a number two? You know what I'm saying? Well, if I go to church, I would want to be somebody be able to refer to me by my name. You know what I'm saying? Know who I am. And love or something. That's what I would want. Uh-oh, that's not the one. That's the one I was looking for. But you understand? So I never understand the big churches like the Potter House and stuff like that. Because I go, wait a minute. If that church has enough land to build a structure that big, they better have free job training. You understand? They better be helping out the community around them. But most of the time, that's not the case. Church is just another way to funnel tax-free money around for people to get rich selling God, selling access to God. When in fact, you don't need anybody to lead you to him. If you believe in that, you don't need anybody to lead you to him. He said you can do that yourself, but you got to put in your own work. Problem is, most people don't want to put in their work. They want other people to do it for them. I can't even have that much money because y'all wouldn't be in poverty. I would be. Say it again, Sierra. You know what I used to say when I was a kid? I remember when I was in like 5th or 6th grade and I was in school. And these little girls, we were standing in line. I think we were in gym. We were doing something. And these little girls asked me, they said, what do you want? I said, I would want all the money in the world. And they said, that's greedy. I said, no, I want all the money in the world so I can give it away to help people. Not so I can be greedy and hoard it all to myself. You know what I mean? Because that's how I see the world. What fun is it? That's what confuses me about uber rich people. How do you really enjoy yourself when other people are suffering? So to me, it says something about the character of those rich people, that you can enjoy yourself even when people are suffering around you. What does that say about you? Right? What does that say about how you were raised? Because I'm not one of those types of people. I wasn't raised like that. I was raised with the mindset, if not for the grace of God, it could be me. Right? Brandon, shut up. He can release it. He's president. Quit being lame and stop making excuses for a grown-ass man. MAGA's always making excuses for a man. It's very weird to me. And it's other men doing it. It's like, I don't get it. So why is it that the Democrats ain't blocking it, Susan. Susan, you need to go make a sandwich, beloved. I told you conservative women can't talk to me, only their husbands. Nope. Can't do that here. Y'all say liberal women are too fucking sassy and all this other. They always talking out of pocket. Well, y'all trying to talk to me out of pocket. No. Hey, Sierra. Hey, beautiful. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I will not allow you to talk to me about anything I don't want to talk about. I'm not doing it. Man, again, my question was, if the president had time to go on the roof of the White House, what is it that he wasn't doing that he needed to be doing? Y'all understand where I'm coming from? What is it that Trump needed to be doing that he wasn't doing? Hey, Brittany. Oh, you do the same thing, J-Fig, bounce MAGA out and block them? Yep. And let me tell you something, even in your personal life, say, for example, a MAGA say something crazy to you and you just respond, oh, and you walk away, they don't know what to do with that. They want to fight you. They want an argument. They need the engagement. They ain't got nobody else to talk to except for people that's just like them. And it ain't no fun to just keep talking to other people that's like them, right? That's not fun to them. They only feel smart, kinda, when they talk to other people that aren't MAGA. It makes them feel a little smart, even though what they're saying doesn't reflect that. You get where I'm coming from? Don't engage the shit. When you don't engage it, they don't know. They crash. Understand? That's why they keep coming back to my live, because I won't participate in it. And again, if I'm some silly liberal, why do you want to talk to me anyway? You said Vance and Bondi are going to have an Epstein. Oh, yeah, I talked about that earlier, Russ Nelson. I was saying that today is actually a meeting that's hosted by J.D. Vance. But they're discussing tonight at a dinner their Epstein strategy. They're discussing their Epstein strategy. Because, again, y'all keep asking about those files. Y'all keep asking about those files. And because you keep asking about those files and you want those files and they're not going away, they're upset about it. So now they're trying to find another distraction for you to focus on. That's why Trump is throwing everything he can up at the wall to get you to pay attention to anything else but the Epstein stuff. So they can also let out Ghislaine Maxwell and quietly suppress this story and continue to go about their business. Because understand, this whole thing about this network did not go away when Jeffrey Epstein went away. Something this big doesn't go away just like that. It's too many people, too many powerful people that want what they want. So it didn't go away. Yeah, I see it's not working. Can I just say, I want a hater like Trump hates Barack Obama. Do you understand when they say let your haters be your motivators? If I had a hater like Donald Trump, OMG. Do you understand? One of the reasons why Trump can't be great, he spends all of his time thinking about Barack Obama. He's so jealous of Barack Obama, he wishes he could be him. You know what Trump be saying? I wish I had ankles like that. That's what he says. He be wishing he had ankles like that, but unfortunately they on swole. That's really what it's about. Man, I wish I had ankles like that. I wish my feet fit in my shoes like that. You know. Ankle envy, you know. Now I want to play something for y'all that I found. Okay, since you guys are tax-paying citizens, right? You need to understand how Trump is funneling taxpayer money to his own businesses, okay? I'm going to play something for you that explains how Trump is funneling our tax dollars to his own businesses, just like he did the first administration, but it's even more egregious this time. Listen. Oh, hold on. I got to unmute it. Might be helpful if I do that first. Okay.
President Trump has spent about a third of his second term staying at his own properties, and he's got them everywhere. And that has cost taxpayers $52 million. So he picks where he stays in a way that he makes a lot of money. When folks go to Mar-a-Lago, it's $240,000 a day. We all know about that so-called free plane that was a gift from Qatar. It turns out the cost of retrofitting it is going to be about $1 billion. $1 billion. Who gets to keep the plane once he's no longer president? President Trump. Is a gift that Trump is going to take with him through his, quote, foundation. But here's another thing that is just outrageous. That $1 billion, they're not being transparent about that, showing how much it's going to cost, who's getting paid what. They're taking money out of a nuclear program and hiding it in the Pentagon budget, so none of us will get the specifics on how much it actually did cost and who was enriched as a result of retrofitting that plane that is going to be Trump's plane. You're entitled to more transparency.
So see, he is just robbing America's cash register and nobody's doing anything about it. Now, keep in mind, don't forget the plane that Trump was flying on while he was campaigning, for the last couple of years. That was Jeffrey Epstein's old plane. Don't believe me? Look it up. Again, if Jeffrey Epstein is such a deplorable person, why would you buy his plane? I wouldn't want nothing that was affiliated with that person, because I don't want nobody connecting no dots. You understand? But this guy is so arrogant, he figures he can do whatever he wants. What you going to do? You know, what you going to do? Like I told y'all before, Ghislaine Maxwell, she was also recruiting children from local pools, schools. It's unfortunate, but that's what was happening, according to the reports. And the court case, transcripts and all that other stuff. What about our children in America? That's something that we need to be thinking about. That's all I'm saying. We need to be mindful of that. Mindful of that. Like I said, I'm going to put a picture on my Patreon, right? And that picture is going to show y'all. I'm about to put it up there right now so y'all can see it. That picture is going to show y'all. Let's just say the president, I'm going to put it in the chat room, the community chat room. The president is having some issues with liquids. That's the best way to say it. Hold on, let me see. Okay, I just posted it in there. Y'all can see it. Somebody took a picture of it. And again, like I said, this man is almost 80. He's almost 80. He spent so much time talking about Joe Biden's age. He ain't that much different. I'm tired of these old ass presidents telling everybody else what to do. They still caught up in the 20s, in the roaring 20s, in the 30s. I'm like, I'm over that. It's 2025. It's time to come into the present. Be in the present. All of this always wanting to be back in the day. Listen, I love to reminisce about back in the day. But at the same time, I'm very, very well aware that I'm in 2025. And I can't spend my life living in the past. That's what I realized. I can't spend my life living in the past. Lori, I see you seen it. Child, you see that? You see that wetness, girl? Honey. When I saw this picture today, I said, wait a minute. Because if it was Joe Biden, Fox News will be doing constant segments nonstop. When it's Donald Trump, nobody wants to talk about it. Make it y'all business to talk about it. Why is the White House not telling us about the real health issues associated with our president? I told y'all I had a discussion with my doctor about this. My doctor said with the swelling in his legs, he should not be flying. He should not be flying at all. That's not good for him. And he has some heart issues. He would have to deal with that circulation issue that he's having. So those things are connected. And she was like, his diet probably doesn't help. Oh, I wanted to show y'all one more thing too as I wrap up this evening. Is now starting this initiative for physical fitness tests. This is the guy that's supposed to tell everybody else you got to be in a certain shape. He ain't even in good shape. He's not. How do you set the standard that you can't meet yourself? And not just you, most of the people around you can't even meet that standard. So how are you going to tell everybody else what's healthy and what's not? That's the part that I don't get. How is he going to tell anybody else? Like, what did I show y'all the other day? Hold on, I want to show you him standing again so you can see it. They are now, it looks like the leg of those pants are a lot bigger than they were before. Why? Because they don't want us to see that swelling. Like I said, it won't be long before he got on bell bottoms. Won't be long before he got on bell bottoms. Or look, they're going to have him in an outfit like the Pope. So we ain't got to see his legs and feet. They just going to put him in something like, you know why he leaning? What they say, Melissa? Melissa, I called that. This is the reverse Neo. This is the reverse Matrix. You know how in the Matrix they went like this? Well, he's going the other way. See? It's the also known as the Annie, are you okay? Smooth criminal. It's also the smooth criminal. Just so you know, that's what that is. Okay? That's what that is. You combine shoe lifts with swelling in the ankles, leg, and feet, you're going to be leaning too. Because you know them dogs is barking. What they say? Where my dogs at? We right here, dog. Them dogs is barking. Okay? Yeah, he does need a presidential moo-moo. You know, we should get Trump a Snuggie. Y'all remember those Snuggies? We should get him a Snuggie. Donnie's not okay. Donnie is not okay, honey. But we should get him a Snuggie. I think we should get him a Snuggie for Christmas. And I told you I'm going to the beauty supply store, get him a pack of them edges. You know how you can get those edges that the ladies can glue on their side? Because them edges of his almost gone. I'm going to get him some edges too. Listen, I can't have my president walk around looking snatched like that. Because Barack had edges, you understand? So listen, at the bare minimum, if you're going to continue to be my president, we're going to have to do something about your lack of edges. Because I don't kick it with folks that ain't got edges. They can't be trusted. If they edges don't want to be around, why should I? Don't make sense, right? Don't make sense. If your own hair don't trust you, neither should I. But I'm gonna send him some edges for Christmas and a Snuggie. Because he needs that. He need a man unit, look, one of those installations. He just can't let it rain, because then if he let it rain, all that makeup on the lace is gonna melt onto him. Because you know how they put the makeup on the lace so it blend in and stuff? The question is, what color is it going to be? Orange or his real color? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Because you mentioned those high-waist pants. At this point, I got those pants being, at least I know when he plays golf, he has those pants over his navel. And I never understand how that's even comfortable. But those pants are up over his navel. I'm telling you. I'm sure of it. I'm sure, because they're not. He doesn't have the pants down below his belly because he doesn't want to make it seem like his belly is hanging over his pants. That's why I'm telling y'all that. I pay attention to these things. I've been looking. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna show you one more picture. As right there. See, I know what I'm sending my president for Christmas. Thank you, Maud, for getting that. I know what I'm sending my president for Christmas. He's getting edges. You know, we're gonna make America great again by giving it edges. He got a party in the front. No, he got a party in the back, and still hanging on to it by a string in the front. But we're gonna get our president right. Okay. Now I'm gonna show y'all one more thing. Trump's had these. Listen, enough's enough. Give us the files. You can't hide them. We know that you've had them the whole time. Give up the files. You understand? Give up the files, sir. You don't have enough to hide them in the way that you think you're going to be able to hide them. We can see the files. Just give us the files, please. That's what we want. We just want the files. I'm not going to stop until we get the file. That's why I talk about it every fucking day. Because I know the president doesn't want us to talk about it. I know he doesn't. But now you're going to start looking at Trump different now that you see this picture and you see that he's had the files the whole time. He just won't share and let us see the files. Keep in mind, it's 10,000 pages. So if he's able to hide 10,000 pages in there, y'all know me sending him edges for Christmas is just what he needs. I want him to get real volume. I don't want him to get this type of volume. But I want those files. We deserve to know. And just so y'all know, that grand jury testimony stuff has no new information. The new information is in the files that he won't let us see. Yep. Oh, he's in those files. Oh, they supposed to be releasing. That's what they say. But they've also worked to redact Trump's name. So then, don't redact Trump's name. We want to see his name. If they release those files, I'm going to tell you, this is where Trump is miscalculating. Because MAGA is watching. If they release those files and Trump's name is redacted in those files, MAGA's still going to say, nope, we're not rocking with that. I'm just telling you, I see the conversations that MAGA is having, and they're not happy with Trump right now. They're not happy about this because they so-called claim they're serious about protecting children. Do they make copies by chance? Not sure. I just know this. That guy from Russia told Trump the other day online that Mossad ain't the only one with a tape. So to me, that was him letting Trump know, listen, don't play with us because we got compromise and we'll release it. And my whole thing is stop threatening it. Release it. If you're going to do everything you say you're going to do it. Because with a person like Donald Trump, you have to do it. You can't make false threats. You understand? You can't make threats that you're not willing to follow through with. Because otherwise, you'll never be seen as being taken seriously. You get it? So this is why I say, just do it. What Arnold said, just do it. What? No, they said it off of Saturday Night Live. Just do it. Go ahead, just do it. And that's what they need to do. But I thank each and every one of you for joining me this evening. I appreciate your participation and your time, as I always tell you that I do. Like I said, tonight at 7:00 p.m. for the public, the new episode 25 of the Straight No Chaser podcast, I'm talking about how capitalism is devouring America and why the system was never built for you. It's built for rich people. It's not built for working class folks. We can change it, but we have to want to change it. Because capitalism is taking everything from you. When are you going to say, I'm tired? Hey, Cindy, and I'm going to make sure I put this live up tonight. Only reason why I'm ending it a little early, because y'all know I'm still dealing with this leg situation for my fucking cat that bit me. You know. Thank you so much, Soyana. But the morning live is already on YouTube, and I'll make sure to put this evening live on YouTube as well. But at 7:00, you're going to be able to see, listen to that new episode of the Straight No Chaser podcast. So I would tell you to check that out. Because I think you're gonna, it's information that you need to hear so that you can understand the system. Because as long as you continue to feed the beast, y'all, the beast gonna eat us up. The beast is going to eat us up. So check out the link in my bio. The link in my bio has everything that you need, okay? All the platforms that I'm on, how you get to everything. I thank you so much for your time this evening. I do, because of what I tell you, your time is the most important commodity you have. You won't get back time once you use it. Be mindful about how you spend your time and who you spend it with. We got 68,000 likes tonight. Thank you so much. We got 71 shares. I appreciate that so much. Thank you so much for the gifts as well. Thank you for all of the engagement. The engagement is golden and key. I love that and appreciate that. Thank you so much. Come on over to Patreon. Let's do some more chatting and talking over there. I have free tiers too. So come on over and let's do some chatting and talking. Thank you so much. I want to send a shout out to my top 5 gifters. I do this every live before I wrap up because I love to make sure that I show appreciation. Of course, I can't say everybody that sent me a gift because that would be longer than the live. But I certainly want to say thank you all so much for your support. Number 1, beautiful storyteller. Thank you so much, beautiful. Number 2, handsome Russ Nelson. Number 3, beautiful Trail. Number 4, beautiful Sienna. Number 5, beautiful Christian Montano. I gotta say that correctly. And a special shout out to number 6, Mr. Handsome Reggie Lowry. Thank you all so much, each and every one of you. I will be back online tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, like I usually am. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I love you. I know you're going to have a great and wonderful evening, okay? Like I said, I'm going to get this live up on YouTube tonight. Thank you so much, and check out that podcast at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to pop on all platforms. I love you. Listen, don't let nobody live rent-free in your head, y'all. Don't feed no trolls. And you can accomplish anything you put your mind to as long as you stay consistent. Peace, you guys. I love you. I'll see you tomorrow morning.